let's get started with the VS Code presentation. We'll be discussing why we will use or why it is benefit or good to use VS Code for IBMi. Okay, so today we will discuss these points. So what is Visual Code and how we can install Visual Studio Code, then extension, what is extensions, how we can connect to our IBMi databases, then working with our library list, object browsers, IFS browsers, and DB2 also, and what is the benefits of using VS Code. So first I'll walk through the presentation, then we'll do all the hands-on, and then finally at the end we'll do question answers. So why to use a like VS Code? So Microsoft Visual Studio Code is very lightweight like editor, and it is very popular and open source. So it is provides us a lot of other options, like we can also integrate many things with it. So and why it is powerful is like it is a customizable software development. So what we say extensions, so these are extensions are developed by some other people, or like we can say IBMi community, and these allows us to use IBMi very efficiently on VS Code. And this gives a very like smart user interface, and it gives a very like variety of language supports in general. And it gives us an integrated debugging capabilities, where we can run the programs, we can see, and we can see what are how it is running, and if we are errors we can find it out. So it VS Code also has a inbuilt Git version control, and nowadays like GitHub, this version control is a very popular, and it has a vast marketplace. And this Git part will be working, like we'll be discussing our in our upcoming session. And what Studio Code means for IBMi? So VS Code is free, and it is a very good alternative for RDA. And it is very easy to learn rather than like RDA and SEU. So if you already worked on SEU, and if you start using VS Code, if you get good hands-on, then you'll understand why it is very helpful and why how it is easy. And it supports almost all the languages which IBM supports. So how to install it? So we can install this using like we can search for code for I on IBMi, or we can go to the Studio Code Marketplace, and we can download it from there. But on our PI machines, we will not be downloading anything from like ourselves. We already raised a ticket, which you can directly connect with the IT team. They will install it for you if it is not installed. And before using VS Code, there are some requirements which we have to follow, or which we should have. So first is like the SSH daemon should be started on IBMi. Okay, and this there is a license program 5733 which will provide this SSH support. And the command which we used is like to start the SSH is like strtcp server sshd, and which it will start the daemon. And note, like this command we will not execute on our client machine, even if you have like admin access or anything, we will not run this program. So whenever we have to run this, we'll just inform the client and we'll ask them to start it. Okay, because this is a very critical and it affects the system, so we will not touch these jobs. But these are the requirements. And now the extensions. So extensions is a like VS Code is a open source editor, so it's kind of a we can edit any sources. But when we install IBMi for development pack, so this extension has like so many inbuilt other extensions in bundled into it. So it is a kind of a package, and if we install, then this includes almost all the uh, like IBMi related extensions. For example, code for IBMi, IBM languages, DB2 for IBMi, RPGLE free, all this. And these extensions, it helps us in editing the sources, syntax checking, compiling, and debugging features. All these things. So connecting to IBMi. So how we can connect to the IBMi? So when we open the VS Code, we have, after adding the extension of um, uh, code for IBMi or IBI development pack, we will see an IBM icon, and this will give us the servers, like what servers we have. And if we click on the server, then we have to select the connections, like we have to provide the connection name, host, then port number, user ID, password. And once we configure the servers, you can see all the servers what you have configured here, that you have to like select, um, in the all the configured server, you can see it. And you can click on the connect button in front of the server to connect to the specific server. Then once we connect with the servers, we can see different views. So first view is a user library list. So this is as usual, like as we know how we use library list in our regular libraries. So this will be our library list, and here we can add, remove libraries, or we can set the current libraries. And the next is object browser. So object browser, we can navigate through all the IBMi objects. We can like create filters, which type of objects you want to see, and all those things. And this creating of these filters, it helps us like to um, select a particular type of filters. But majorly this is used for source files, and how the source files work, and how we can create the filters, and how the source, this object browser will give us the source, total source files, and how we can look at the each source, and that how we can browse it, edit it, or compile it, like that. And the finally we can see the IFS browser. So IFS browser, it gives us easy to use interface, interacting with the files and directories. So we can, if any files are there on IFS, we can easily manipulate those. There is another feature added recently to the um, uh, to the code for I, is DB2 for I. So this will give us some other additional features, like we can work with the SQL statements also. We can work with our database. So first thing is like we have option of a schema browser, so where we can add libraries, and where we can see or browse through all our database files and everything. We can look for the structures, we can execute the statements. For executing statements, you can open any existing SQL file, or you can write a new SQL file, and that you can run. And as we know, like through this this SQL processors, we can also run CL commands also. So running some CL commands is also very beneficial over here. And so later at the bottom, after that, we can see statement history. So all the statements what we executed, that we can see it here. And after that, we can see some examples. So there are some pre-provided like examples related to the SQL on all the objects, how we can create these objects, or some sample commands are there. And SQL job manager, this allows to manage different SQL jobs on each of their own like JDBC configurations. So on this part, I'm still working on this part. So this part is not completely explored. So when we discuss this on next session, we'll discuss more on the how this job manager works, how the error handling is done, how we can do the debugging for the SQL errors, and all those parts. And yeah, so let's go to the practical part, and we'll see how we can use the VS Code. Yeah. So when we see, when we open the VS Code, we can see this link, and here the server will be empty for you. So we have to click on the servers, and we have to give a server connection name. So for what is the connection name you want to see, and the IP address of it, and the port and SSH for it. And after that, what we have to do is like we have to give username and password also. And you can choose to save password, or if it is a client machine, I would recommend we will not save password. It will ask for prompt every time whenever it is connected. So that will be better, and we can save and exit here, and or also we can connect it. So in this connection setting, we can see a temporary data. So temporary data is like it's a temporary library. It will be used by VS Code to create some temporary objects. Okay, and by default it will be like IL editor, and we cannot set it to qtemp. It has to be other than qtemp. And on that machine, if we are doing any working on that system, so if there are any objects we need to create, that we can create it using those will be created into this IL editor. So along with that, I want to show you some other these all are login settings what we have just seen. And then I'll show you some other connection settings which we can go through. So in this connection settings, we can see some features. Okay, so features include quick connect, whether it should connect automatically or not. Okay, then show hidden files in a browser and all those things. Okay, then next we have the source code related settings. So source code, what are the CCS IDs and all these we have. There is a recent feature which gives us enables source dates. So if you have used VS Code previously, you can you will know like we cannot see the source dates into our source editor, but now we can enable it here. And how to connect to the different terminals, how the debugger works, and the temporary data what we already see, everything. So once this all setting is completed, we can click on the connect machine here, and it will connect to the IBMi machine. And you can see a prompt on the bottom right corner whether it is connecting or not. So it will take few seconds just to check everything, and then it will connect to the IBMi machine. So we can see it has connected to the IBMi machine. Okay, and I'll just delete this feature filter so I can create it again. So first option we can see is a user library list, and here is the library list what I have reset. So we can just move up and down any libraries. We can add it libraries, or if you want, we can remove the library from library list also. Okay, and you can see this library output is currently set as a current library. You can set it to anything. You can set it to QGPL or anything. And now we'll see about the object browser. So object browser, mostly we can see all the browse objects which we want to see. So first I'll show on the source files. Okay, so I'll just give the filter here, filter name here, output source files. And what libraries it should look. So it should look for the Avadut library object filter name. So we can give the specific name also, like for example, QRPGLE SRC, or we can give like Q start. And what is the object type? We can give it. Okay. So I'm just giving source file. And if you want to uh, filter with the member names also, or member type, that you can also do it. So for example, you can change it to like output source files RPGLE, and you can select only RPG sources. So that also will work. And this is how the first filter is created. And if I click or expand this one, it will fetch all the source files from my library, and it will show it here. Similarly, I'll just create one more filter over here. Uh, and this filter, I'm just giving name, and instead of this source type, I'm just giving star all, and I'll just save this setting. So this will create a new filter, all objects. And when I expand this one, so we can see all the objects which are under my library, Avadut library. And what are the so you can see these are the there is a save file and all the objects what we have that we can see it. And if in the filter line itself we can see how it is filtered. So library, then this is the object, then this is the member names, and this is object type star all. So here if you see for the source file, output library starting with a q, all members and only source files. So I'll open a source file here, qrpgl src, and in qrpgl src I can see, say like there is one program, and there is another source qrpg-ds, where we have multiple multiple programs and sources written. And finally the ifs browser. So ifs browser, how the ifs browser works is like we can just add any ifs link over here which you want to work with. So I have added my home Avadut library, and here those we can see this .vs code, right? So this is actually if I go to IBMi into my work link and home directory. So I cannot see any directory over here, because this is actually hidden one, and it is created by VS Code for it is internal purposes. And in our one of our login settings, it is there like whether it should show hidden files or not. And if we just turn it off there, then this will not be shown here. I'll just open one program. Say this test SQL RPGLE program on IFS, so we can see how this ifs file looks over here. So this is how we can connect to the IBMi, and I'll show you the extensions what I have installed. So this is the extension I have installed, IBMi development pack. And if you see, this extension pack includes RPGLE free IBMi languages. So this will help us in highlighting syntaxes and all those things like code for IBMi. This is RPGLE CL, C, C++, any objects we are writing. It will we can maintain the codes in there. So like this is RPGLE language tools. There are some other generic tools we have added, like then there is a COBOL, then DB2 for IBMi, and yeah, CL language, IBMi debug, all these extensions are included. So if we go on the left side here, we can see this IBMi, and here we can see all those things. And similarly, we can go to the next one, that is DB2. And in DB2 for IE, we can see schema browser, then statement history and examples and job manager. Now we'll go to the IBMi, and we'll write some source, and we'll try to see how it works. And so this is a qrpgl src. And if I on that line, if I see here, I can see the new member. If I We can click on the new member, and it will prompt on the top what new member you want to create it. And what we have to give here name is a member name dot extension. So dot extension is like what type of a program it is. Okay, so I'm going to um, run a like write a program, say uh, program 1 dot rpgle, and I can hit enter. So it will create a new program RPGLE, and it automatically understand this is a RPGLE program, and it will allow us to write a program in RPGLE, and it also checks the syntaxes and all those things. So I'm as this is a new source I have opened, you can see this all these zeros are there. So this is a new when we see, like when we open a new source file, it will just show zeros because this not edited. And if I type something here, it will just start editing it. So I'm just typing star free for free format. And um, Now I can say like declare standalone variable and say work number and packed of 10 and initialize it to say 5 and save it. So this is a one example like how we usually write it into our SEO. But now I'll show you a better way to do that also. So what instead of now you have seen like it I had to type everything in here, and same way you would do in our SEO also. And as this is a RPGLE program, it automatically understands this stars are free or DCLS is a keywords and how the numbers are defined and all. So now using VS Code, what you can do, you can just type declare as, that is declare standard variable. You can select over here or you can press the tab button. So if you press the tab button, it will give you a kind of a prompt. So first you have to give the name. So I'll just say like w underscore string, then press the tab. So what type of you want to do it, so character or varchar. So I'm selecting varchar. Then length, say like 25. And I like if you want to give any keywords to this, so initialize, I'll give prototype. So see how easy this one is compared to writing it everything. Okay, and this works for everything almost. Like if I do like declare DS. Okay, so this will give us declare data structure, name, qualified, dimensions if you want to give it, and the structure of it. Otherwise, I'll just show you DCL, DS, and EXT. So if you want to use external structure into a data structure, then you can click a tab on here. So it will give the name. So I'll just say like sales DS, external name is sales, and it is qualified and NDS. So we I have just edited only this sales DS and sales, only this part. Rest everything, this external name, qualified, NDS, it is auto populated by the program itself. So this is how we can do this will save us a lot of time writing a program into when we are actually using VS Code. So I say I want to use this display keyword and I want to show a number. Okay, I'll just close this program. And so when I'm using the display keyword, it will show us all the variables also which we have used. And if you see this variable, it has like w underscore string varchar, and it is initialized to programmers.io. If I just go to the last one, we can see how it is defined and what is the value. So I'm just want to display this one, and using our regular control S saving, we can save this object. And once this is saved, I can go to the our SU and I can show it here how the first program looks. And this is how we have we can see this everything is defined. And now I'll show you the compiling of the object also, how we can compile this object. So for compiling objects, there is a shortcut key called Control E. It will give us a run actions. And here I'm selecting create bound RPG program. And when we select this one, it like runs the program, and you can see how you would see a spool file in our like AS400 or IBMi machine. It similarly it done. It's done the same, and it gives us this message like program placed in a library output, and it is a zero highest severity. Okay, and now I want to do one more thing. I'll just change it to say string one, save it, and run it again. Okay, so now it says like that it has failed into error. So I'll do the same thing in here. Okay, then if it is failed, what I would do is like I'll go to the my spool file and go for the bottom, and I'll see what is the error. So I can see there is a name or indicator not defined. And what we will do, we'll go and search this RNF 7031 where it is defined, and how it is, why it is not used. Sorry, RNF 30 I should do to search it. Uh, and we can see this string w underscore string is one is not defined, but using VS code it will directly give the errors into errors and all the warnings into the source statement itself in the source editor itself. So we can see here this name or string is not defined. So what the compiler does is like it finds where is the error and it just highlight that error. Okay, and so I can just go and correct it here and save it and again compile the program. And once we compile the program, now we can see it is compiled successfully. And after compilation also, we can see this name or indicator customer is not referenced. So most of the times what we do is if any s- program when we create it, if it is successfully created, we will just ignore everything else. We will not see if there are any warning messages or not. So here I can see this data structure, it is declared but it is never used, so it occupies the space, and ideally this should not be here. So what we can do, we can just remove this. And as this highlights in the source again, so it's very like indicative, like there is a warning message and this is no longer useful, and we can remove it. So by this using these methods, our programming can be more efficient, and we can like ignore these kind of warnings, and in future also we'll just understand these things are not required. And I'll show one more cool feature about this. I hope everyone has used the we have one program called, if I do call QCMDEXE. Okay, and if I have to use this call QCMDEXE, so what I have to do? I have to define the prototype of that, and along with that prototype, I have to define like command length, command string, all those things. But in VS Code, if it already knows what is this one and what it does. So if I just select this one, like if I give tab over here, so you can see it automatically creates the prototype also for that. So it understand like this call QCMD is also executed. So I think it will define, it will declare a prototype for it, and it will add some comments also for that. Okay, QCMD executes a system command, and all these things are already given here. So what if, we can just do is like now we can give the command string and some command, and after that we can execute this one. Okay, I'm just saving this and then I'm compiling this one. Yeah. So just one thing, like this command string command length is not defined, so that we have to define and all. So so this is how it is more useful while when we use this VS Code into this one. And similarly, we have options of debugging the sources and all. But currently, as we have received the lab machine recently, and if, there is some small error related to the debugging feature, so that I have to fix it. So I cannot show you the debug as a batch option here right now, but in our next session, I'll show you this debug as batch and how we can debug the program and all those things. And say here we have created one another program, RPGLE demo, and consider this is my some development library, and or this is what I have defined it. And there is another program with a similar name into another file, and I want to compare both of this. If how we compare is like we take option 54 and compare it. So instead it's very easy here. So which one you want to compare? So you can right click to onto this, and you can select for compare, select for compare. So this is the first option, select for compare, and then you can just uh, s- uh, compare with selected. So what it does is like both the sources, it will compare, select it and compare it, and it will show the differences over here. So first thing is like we can see this empty line has been added here. Okay, and this red is like non-matching lines. So we can see this DCL as and string and date, these are newly defined. In the previous program we can see the number was initialized to 20, now it is changed to 10. Now the display number also is done, and string is assigned with the value. So this is how we can find out the difference, like compare the differences. So this will be useful if we are promoting any changes to the production, and in the same fashion. So along with that, I created this program, one RPGLE. So this program, if I show you here, so it does not have text. So we can do all this things like if I right click on this one, so we can do like change the description of it, copy it, rename it, delete it, upload and refresh. So all these things we can do it. Okay, so I'll just change the description. Okay, and now we can see that has been updated here. So how we do it in our regular day-to-day work, so similarly we can do everything in here. Okay, so this is all about the object browser, how we can edit the sources, how we can compile the sources, and all the part. Okay, now we'll have a look into the our db2 for I function. So this is a db2 for I. It's again a very good like extension is provided. So here I have added one schema Avdut, that is my library Avdut. And if I just open it, it will list all the objects which can be there, like aliases, functions, indexes, or anything. So I want to see like select like tables. So I can see the product, RPGDS, QRPGLE, SRC, sales, PF, everything. All these are tables. So even QRPG and RPGDS and RPGLE, SRC, it is actually a PF, only the attribute of his source PF. So if I want to see the data onto product, so in front of product we can see like view contents. We can click on the view contents. So what it does, it opens a new editor, and it writes the statement like select star from output product as A, and it displays the result at the bottom. So these are the bottom like all the sources. Okay, so similarly if I open the new window, I get one option actually to select a language. So I can select a language, and I can do SQL, and I can write my own SQL statement, select star from outlook.sales. So when I give output dot, it gives us both like all the tables what I have. So I'm selecting this output dot sales, and we have an option of control R to run it, or we can go at the right side here to run this SQL statement. So it gives us the details how it is executed. This is just like a message which gives us like loaded one end of the data, and this job has executed this command, and this is the same job which we use for our SQL job manager. So this is about like how we are writing a state SQL statements are running here. Or otherwise what we can do, I'll just open our SQL RPGLE SRC, and sorry, I'll go to the IBMi. I will open QRPGDS, and there is a query.sql. So if you have already written SQL, like we can write SQL into .sql statement, and it will parse it as a SQL statement, and that also we can see it here. So we can see this is a select star from a same table, but here it is ordered by product name. So I'm running the statement, and we can see the results of it. Okay, now we can see this, all the products are sorted by the product name. Okay, so as uh, here I have shown you like a select star from sales. It gives us this result of the what how it runs. So using a CL processor, we can see here you can see the icon also. It's a DB2 icon, and here using the CL. Like SQL processor called CL, I can execute the CL program, CL commands also. So for example, I want to clear this file. Okay, so output dot and sales. Okay, then I can run this one, and so if I see, it is still. Sorry, my mistake, I have to give this slash to this. Now it will clear the sales. Sorry, I think this file is locked here, and once it is cleared, it will give us the message member sales in file sales how that is cleared, and it is cleared. So do not use this clear and all in on your client machine. Only use whatever you need. For example, if you want to run some simple other commands from the CL, and that's how it is useful and benefit to do it. So this is about the how we can like see the objects and all those things. And for example, if there is a statement history, so what statements I have executed over here, it will just list it everything. And we have some examples also, like built-in global variables, data control language, data definition language, manipulation language, all those things. If you open it, so it will just give us some example. So for example, I want to do the insert, so it gives a syntax of insert into table column and what are the values. Okay, or if I want to say like alter a table to add a column, so this gives a syntax of alter table, add column, and like whatever column value we have, an integer and everything. So these examples are very useful because sometimes some queries we don't know the syntax. We go to the Google, we search it, and we do it. So instead of that, we can just do it from here itself. So that's all about DB2 for IBMi, and overall how we can use the VS Code, how we can edit the sources, how we can compile the sources.